My name's Carter Miles. I'm 36. I work as a correctional officer in a medium security facility near Flagstaff, Arizona. It's a job that teaches you two things fast: read body language better than words and never ask a question you're not ready to live with the answer to. I thought I understood people. Until my wife taught me otherwise. Her name's Lacey. We met in line at a grocery store. She was funny, sharp, wore a messy ponytail like she didn't care who was looking. I remember thinking, finally, someone real. We married after 10 months. I never had doubts. She slid into my life like she'd always belonged there, helping my mother around the house, planning dinners, laughing too loud at bad movies. But over the last year, something in her shifted. Subtle at first. Less eye contact. More phone time. New lingerie she wore once and never again. I asked if she was okay. She blamed work. She was a vet tech, worked long hours, late evenings, the kind of job you admire because of how much emotional energy it takes. But she never seemed drained. She seemed distant. Then it happened. One night, she left her laptop open on the kitchen counter while she showered. I was grabbing a bottle of water when I saw a message pop up. It was from someone named Nash. That name meant nothing to me until I saw the preview. That thing you do with your tongue should be illegal. Miss you already. My chest didn't drop. My stomach didn't turn. I didn't rage. I just sat down. Opened the laptop. Read. There were 17 emails from Nash. Dozens of threads. They used vague phrases, code words, even mentioned how lucky it was I worked nights. But Nash wasn't the only one. There was also Mason. And Jonah. And T. First initials, hotel meetups, vague weekend getaways that suddenly made sense. I sat in that kitchen for 2 hours cataloging each one. Making notes. Screenshots. Times. Cross-referencing names with contacts in my phone I hadn't realized were aliases. 3 different men. All of them thought they were the only one. Turns out my wife didn't have a secret life. She had several. And I had been her alibi. That's when I started making the list. Not of the men. Of the ways I was going to dismantle her from the inside out. This wasn't going to be some chaotic blow-up. It was going to be a process. Slow. Clean. Emotional demolition, not physical destruction. The men weren't the problem. They were props. Accessories to her deeper rot. This revenge? It was going to be personal. Lacey once told me she hated drama. Funny how people who say that often leave the biggest messes. I didn't confront her after reading the emails. I didn't toss her laptop. I didn't even leave. I watched. The way she stretched before leaving for work, knowing she wasn't going to the clinic. The extra perfume. The changed password on her phone as if the lock screen could protect her from herself. She was preparing scenes for men who didn't know they were sharing a role. I was preparing a curtain call. The first name on the list was Mason. He was easy. A middle school PE teacher 2 towns over. She met him at a charity dog run she forgot to invite me to. They'd meet on Wednesdays during her fake staff meetings. I found him on Facebook. Married. 2 kids. His wife, Denise, looked like she ran the house. PTA mom with sharp eyes and a bio that said family first, always. Perfect. I created a fake Instagram account. No posts. 1 DM. Your husband has been mentoring more than just kids on Wednesdays. Start with February 8th, room 217 at the Days Inn. Ask about the woman with the cherry blossom tattoo. No threats. No insults. Just a breadcrumb soaked in gasoline. Denise replied 3 days later, not to me, of course, but to everyone. She posted a picture of their family, then another, just her and the kids, with the caption, "Sometimes cleaning house starts with removing what stinks." Lacey came home that night in a storm cloud. Tossed her bag. Something's up with Mason. He's not answering. Something happened. I blinked at her. Maybe he's cleaning house. She stared at me frozen. I sipped my coffee. She had no idea I just shattered her Wednesday world. Next on the list was Jonah. A wannabe poet/bartender. He worked 2 blocks from our place. Wrote her sad boy emails about souls touching in a digital age. I found out he was applying for a writing residency in Portland. I also found his Reddit handle because yes, he reused his pseudonym across all platforms. He once posted a photo of her, nude, face hidden, captioned, "The muse of my downfall." Too bad the background showed the framed quote in our hallway. "This house runs on love, coffee, and sarcasm." That frame came from my mother. I printed the post. Highlighted the identifiable background. Mailed it with no return address to the residency committee marked ethics concern. A week later, he got denied. Lacey came home in tears. He says people are out to ruin him. Someone exposed something personal and now he's blacklisted. Maybe he shouldn't post things that don't belong to him, I said flatly. She looked at me then really looked and I saw it. Doubt. She didn't know I knew. But she knew something was slipping. And for the first time in our marriage, she didn't feel in control. The third name? Nash. The crown jewel. Her emotional affair turned physical turned, well, delusional. He called her his one. Said he'd leave everything. Except he didn't even have a real job. Drove Uber, lived with his cousin, and lied about owning a boat. Lacey bought every word. She even used our savings to fly out for a conference where she met up with him for 3 days. I traced the receipts. The hotel she used? I called and had a gift basket delivered to the room on her behalf after their stay. Inside, condoms, a copy of The Art of War, and a note. A little something to keep things tactical next time. Signed, Lacey's husband. He ghosted her by the weekend. She spiraled. First came the long showers. Then the wine before noon. Then the late-night sobs when she thought I was asleep. But I never asked what was wrong. Because by then I had already started step 4. Setting my exit. I met with a divorce attorney. Clean. Quiet. Airtight. No messy fight. No alimony. No shouting in parking lots. Just a plan. Because I wasn't just leaving her. I was leaving her with nothing she could spin. Her lovers were gone. Her self-worth was unraveling. Her control was slipping like sand through open fingers. And the best part? She still didn't know it was me behind it all. But she would. And when that day came, she'd feel every moment she thought she got away with something twice as hard. By this point, Lacey wasn't herself anymore. The confidence was gone. The curated smile she used to wear like jewelry? Cracked. She walked quieter. Checked her phone like it owed her an apology. She kept asking me, "Are we okay?" Like I'd vanished from the marriage when the truth was I'd never left. She had. But now I was turning the volume up. I made a list within the list, the enablers. Lacey's girls. The friends who covered for her girls' weekends and wine nights that turned into hotel room gymnastics sessions with men who knew her better horizontally than emotionally. Tasha was first.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing experience. But we really need your support, namely a subscription to the channel, which can make it possible to hire a professional voice actor and make the best content for you.
She worked in a nail salon, loved drama but hated being in the middle of it. I sent her a package disguised as a promotion from a fake beauty PR company. Inside was a photo album. High quality. Soft leather cover. Inside, a carefully selected series of images. Lacey. Hotel rooms. Her and Nash. Her and Mason. Candid clear. No faces blurred. No context needed. On the last page? This is what you helped her protect. Tasha didn't text Lacey. She ghosted her entirely. Next was Brianna, the one Lacey always bragged would take a bullet for her. I sent her the screenshots. Just the messages where Lacey called her a cute idiot for believing the cover story about Chicago. The subject line of the email was, "Even martyrs deserve the truth." Within 2 days, Brianna unfollowed her on everything. Lacey noticed. "I think Tasha and Bri are mad at me," she said, stirring coffee with hands that couldn't keep still. "Why would they be?" I asked without looking up from the paper. "I don't know," she whispered. "Something's off." Then she started crying. Not crocodile tears. Not manipulation. The kind of crying that happens when the structure you've leaned on starts disintegrating and you have no one left to blame. I said nothing. Because the part of me that once wanted to fix her was gone. Then came her mother. Carol. Southern, religious, overly fond of moral superiority. Lacey had built her golden daughter act around that woman's worldview for years. So I took a different approach. Sunday lunch. Pot roast. Mashed potatoes. I invited Carol over like it was any other week. Halfway through the meal, I handed her a folder. "This is between you and me," I said. "But I thought you deserved the truth. From me, not the internet." Carol opened it slowly. 5 pages. The first one was a calendar with cross-marked dates every day Lacey had been with someone else. The rest? Photos, statements, a printed copy of the airline itinerary she used for Nash's trip labeled as a professional development weekend. Carol went pale. Lacey froze. "What is this?" Carol didn't speak. She just folded the folder closed, set her fork down, and said, "I don't know who you are anymore." Then she got up, walked out the door. That was the last time she spoke to her daughter. Lacey tried calling her later. Left voicemails. Got blocked. She spiraled that night. Accused me of hacking her life. I just blinked. Why would I need to hack what you leave wide open? Then came the storm. Her past caught up. Her job called. Investigation triggered due to external allegations. Her Instagram got flooded with comments from anonymous accounts. Nothing harsh, just quotes like, integrity. What you do when no one's watching. She deleted everything within hours. I sat on the porch that night, beer in hand, watching her pace inside like a ghost trapped in the house she thought she owned. She didn't sleep. Neither did I. But for the first time, that was a choice. And the best part? She still didn't know who was pulling the strings. Because when you've lied to yourself for so long, the truth doesn't just hurt. It unravels you. And I wasn't finished yet. And by now, Lacey was avoiding every reflective surface in the house. She stopped wearing makeup, didn't leave the house for days. Her phone stayed face down and off. She moved like a woman underwater. Slow, disoriented, afraid of the surface. That's when I gave her the final gift. A flash drive, wrapped in plain brown paper. Left it on the kitchen table with a note. You said you wanted honesty. This is mine. She didn't open it right away. She stared at it like it might bite. I went out for a long drive. Didn't answer her texts. Let the silence marinate. When I came back, the house was quiet. Too quiet. She was in the bedroom, curled up, knees to chest. The flash drive on the floor. She didn't look at me. Didn't need to. She'd seen it all. Every file was time-stamped. Every screenshot sorted by name. Photos. Messages. Audio recordings of whispered lies I captured without her ever noticing. I included a video me talking directly into the camera. No yelling. No accusations. Just the calm voice of a man finally done with pretending. You built a home on deception. You filled it with people who only knew fragments of you. And now you know what it feels like to live with all of them gone. I didn't ruin your life, Lacey. You handed me the hammer and dared me to swing. You said you hated drama, so I gave you silence. And in it, you finally heard yourself. She sobbed for hours. I didn't comfort her. I packed. This wasn't rage. This was conclusion. I'd already lined everything up. Quiet divorce. No contest. She'd lost too much to fight me on anything. I left her with the house. With the silence. With the weight of her own name. As I closed the front door behind me for the last time, she followed me onto the porch. Carter, she said, voice ragged. How long have you known? I looked at her. Barefoot, hollow, wrapped in the robe I bought her on our second anniversary. Long enough to become someone you never deserved. She reached out, hand trembling. Please don't hate me. I don't, I said. I pity you, because you mistook kindness for weakness. And now you'll never see either again. I left her there, standing on the porch of a life she thought she controlled. Alone, with the truth. Because the best revenge isn't ruining someone. It's letting them ruin themselves with a spotlight you quietly turned on. The weeks after I left felt like walking out of a burning building into still, clear air. There were no flames, no alarms, just silence. And in that silence, I finally heard myself again. I moved into a one-bedroom rental outside Prescott. Nothing fancy, wood floors, view of the desert hills, peace. Real peace. The kind you don't have to fight for. I changed my number, deleted joint accounts, blocked her across the board. Not because I was afraid of her words, because I didn't need to hear them. But Lacey didn't go quietly. She sent letters. 2, then 5, then 12. The first few were apologies dressed in poetry. I never meant for it to go so far. You were always the real thing. Then came bargaining. Let's just talk. We could try counseling. I'm not that woman anymore. The last ones were empty. Pages of ink running in circles, begging for something that no longer existed. I didn't reply to any of them. I didn't even open the last 3, because some words don't deserve ears. One day she showed up. She didn't knock, just stood on the gravel path outside my new place, shoulders hunched like someone trying to apologize without saying anything. I opened the door. Didn't invite her in. She looked at me like I was someone she didn't recognize. And in a way, she was right. Carter, she said. I don't know what to do. I stared at her for a moment, then said, you know that feeling? That helplessness. She nodded. That's what I felt the first time I found out. And every time after, when I still came home to you, smiled, let you lie to my face. You're just now tasting what you served. She opened her mouth. I shut the door. No slam. Just finality. After that, the messages stopped. She disappeared from town a month later. Her name came up once when a coworker mentioned seeing her at a gas station in Tucson. Didn't look like herself, they said. I nodded and changed the subject. Because I don't live in her orbit anymore. I rebuilt mine without her. And it's simple. Clean. I volunteer once a week at a local youth center mentoring kids who haven't been given a fair shot. I fish. I read again. I sleep without clutching my jaw. I even met someone slow, gentle, honest. She doesn't try to impress me. She listens. She doesn't fill silences with stories. She shares space with them. And me? I've become what Lacey never saw coming. Whole, freedom doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in moments. Tiny, quiet ones. Like sipping coffee at 7 a.m. and realizing you didn't wake up dreading anything. Like watching the sunrise without wondering who she's texting. Like folding your own laundry and smiling because no one else is pretending to love you. That's what my life became. A collection of small, honest moments. And not a single one of them had her fingerprints on it. Lacey was a storm I outlived. A headline I never clicked again. I didn't tell my story to the world. I didn't need applause. I didn't post vague quotes about betrayal or fake healing mantras. I healed the old-fashioned way. By outgrowing the space she collapsed in. The last I heard of her, she was living in some rental with a roommate 10 years younger. Working retail. Talking about taking time to find herself. I hope she does. Truly. But I also hope she realizes something else. That there are no monuments to her in my life. No scars etched in poems. No sad playlists. No late-night texts half-typed and deleted. She is gone. Not with hate. Not with rage. But with the same finality you give to old furniture you leave on the curb, once useful, now just taking up space. And me? I built something better. I live quietly. I laugh honestly. I tell the truth now, not because I need to, but because it feels right again. And the woman I'm seeing? She knows my story. Not the gory version. Just the truth. I loved someone who didn't deserve me. I forgave myself. Then I moved on. She didn't ask for details. She just nodded and said, I'm glad you did. That's when I knew she was different. And me? I'm not a man with a broken heart. I'm a man with a cleared foundation. Because the best revenge? Isn't making them pay. It's making sure they never get the chance again.